In this chapter, we're going to start talking about setting up the morphing for the character. Now, one of the things I want to start right off with is actually trying to dispel a given myth about morphing in Max. I see people jumping through hoops trying to reduce morph data for heads, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the process of showing you what is normally done so that we can actually have a look at it and see what it'll achieve and how it actually works. One of the other methods I'm just going to start with very quickly is the skin wrap method, and is very useful and very handy, but it is an advanced method for working with morphing, and I'm not going to cover it in this DVD series. I'm going to leave that for an advanced series because it can get far more in depth as to what you can achieve with it, and I don't believe that the scope of this DVD can really get into that. What happens with the skin wrap method is you make a copy of the face, a low-res copy, and you skin wrap the high-res face to it. That way that when you morph the underlying face, it will drive the overlying one. What's nice about this is you can actually create targets and then in your high-res model be able to go back in and actually change the vertex count, change the order of vertices, completely rework the face if you had to, and all the underlying morphs still function and work as they should. It also gives you an exceptionally low-res copy of the head to store all the morphs on, and it can actually be much lower density than the face itself in some cases. That aside, what we're going to look at is the one where people usually detach the head and then reattach the body. So let's go ahead and do that. I've already set up a selection set. Essentially what happens is people want to reduce the amount of morph data and try and speed up the morphing. So what they do is they first go ahead and detach the head. The problem with this is we've already skinned this character. And if I detach the head right now, although this skin will continue working, when I go to reattach it, I'm going to reattach it in the other order. I'm actually going to attach the body to the head, which will completely change the vertex order, and therefore any skinning I've done is going to be completely done away with. Even if we go into skin and save the skin weights, it's still not going to help us because those skin weights are based on the order of the vertices. So actually I'm going to show you an excellent tool that I use all the time for handling situations like this. And like I said, in this sort of given situation, you know, I wouldn't even have to do this once you'll see what we're about to do, but you'll see that the tool is very good. I'm just going to blow away Turbo Smooth because we don't need it. And in the tools panel, I'm actually going to go into more and call up skin utilities, and because it was already up, it just closed it, skin utilities. And what you have here is two options. One is extract skin data, so with your model selected with skin on it, you can extract skin data, and you can see that what it's done is it's actually created this copy of the mesh. It's an exact copy of the mesh. If you saved your file right now, it'll be absolutely huge because that mesh contains all of the weighting of every vertex to each bone. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to make a selection set of this. And I'm just going to hide it for now. We're going to bring that back and use it again in a minute. I'm going to go back down into our edible poly level with my head, and I'm just going to detach the actual head from the rest of the body, so I've only got a head to morph. So now what we're going to do is we're going to detach the head so that we have a separate object for the head, and the idea is to reduce the amount of morph data just on the head. So I'm going to hit detach, and I'm going to call this Ogre Geo Head, and it's been detached. To save the skin, because we've got all the bones already added to it and whatnot, and I don't want to have to go and reset up all the bones that are added. I could write a script to do it, I could do it other ways, but the easiest way is I'm just going to transfer this skin modifier over to the head, just drag and drop it onto the head. It isn't going to work essentially on that head very well. If I go and drag the time slider, see if you get it to certain, you can see that it's ripping and tearing. It's working to a certain degree in certain areas, but in others it's just not working at all. So obviously the data hasn't transferred correctly. Now what would normally happen is we would take a copy of this